Dirty gear, at best, it looks bad. At worst, it can ruin an entire clear sky night for you. Think photoshopping dust spots for hours, or even gear malfunctions where things don't work because you didn't take care of your gear. So today, let's fix that. Cue my cleaning drawer. The first question, of course, what do I need to clean? When do I need to clean it? We should be cleaning all of our gear. So yes, our big ticket, camera, lens, tripod, but think headlamp, remote, intervalometer, if we have battery packs, anything that's coming out with us on a regular basis that has the opportunity to get stuff on it. First up, in terms of when we're cleaning, ideally, right after we shoot. And I like to do quarterly deep cleans where I'm really getting in, taking everything apart, getting into all the nooks and crannies. I will say about cleaning right after we shoot, if you photograph the Milky Way, if you go out at night and shoot like I do, often I just want to go to sleep when I get home. If there's anything really bad, like, oh, I was at the beach and there's sand all over some things, I will prioritize that. But otherwise, I might put it off until the next shoot that I'm going to do if things aren't that bad. Okay. So what's my kit? What do I use? With the tripod, it's different than with the camera. The tripod can be a little bit harsher. So I have little hand brooms that I use to get all of the stuff off the bottom of my tripod when I've been out shooting, especially if I've been at the beach. I will sometimes use compressed air, or if I have my compressor out, I might use that to get in and get stuff off of here. I would never use compressed air or a compressor on my camera. For the rest of the tripod, it is taking it apart and making sure it is dry, making sure things are not in the moving pieces. And most often you can use regular household cleaning things for it. The one thing that I use that is not something I use on much else for myself personally is this multi-use synthetic oil. I use this when I'm completely taking everything apart. Often we'll go in and degrease sections that have grime in them because it's very hard to clean them when they still have the lubricant. So if you're doing something like that, you 100% need to add this on after. I am a bit more careful with the tripod head. For me though, I will find my tripod head doesn't get that dirty, fortunately, but if it had a lot of dirt on it, etc., I probably wouldn't use the same tools I'm using to clean the bottom of my tripod. I would use what I mostly am using on my camera and lens combination. And the first thing, the number one thing, and I have a few of these because I tend to lose things, is a lens blower. This is to get dust and debris off of your gear before you start cleaning it with other things. It's very important because we don't want to scratch our gear or to embed any of the dust and the dirt that would have come off into our gear. I'm going to take off my lens hood to start, and if you have your lens cap on, let's take that off as well. We are looking at two separate areas with our camera. One is the front of our lens. We are going to treat that differently from mostly everything else except potentially the back of the lens. And then we're looking at the complete exterior. And my focus is on anywhere that something can go in and out of the camera or connect to the camera or the camera gets opened. So for our lens, where does our lens attach to the body? If we have a pop-up flash, if you have an articulating screen, anywhere where things can go in, like putting in our cards, taking out our batteries, etc. The first place with our lens itself is going to be just going at an angle and blowing anything off. Then we're going to get into all of the seams. So getting in here and cleaning all of it. I take some time, I get it in close, I look at any spot where there might be stuff on it. That is my lens blower to start. Next, I like to use a soft brush. Now I do have a standalone little soft brush here, but this is because it came in a kit. Generally what I use is actually a lens pen. And the lens pen has two sides. So one side has this little brush that comes off, and I absolutely love this brush. I don't touch it myself because I don't want to get my greasy fingers all over it. And then the other side has a little squeegee on it, which we'll talk about in just a moment. But the next line of defense after the lens blower is to use this brush. And this, I will go in and help get rid of anything else that's stubborn on my camera. I can use this on the lens. Now you'll notice that I have UV protectors on my lens, and I do that on all of them to keep my actual lens glass safe. I'm not too worried about using this on here. It's quite soft. I generally don't use it directly on the lens itself. The other part of the lens pen is a squeegee. They say this is good for about 200 uses. I still keep mine, but on the end of the squeegee, there's carbon on it, and that carbon is used to suck up some of the grease. We do not want to get into using a microfiber cloth yet because there might be residual grease on the lens. The lens pen will get rid of that, and basically you are going to squeegee across your lens. At this point, you might get some little streaky lines on there. And if you do, that's what the microfiber cloth is for. You might also get a little bit more dust coming in. I tend to use the blower to get that off, but you could also use the brush to go in and brush some of that off. At this point, this is when I will go in and use the microfiber cloth. I don't use the microfiber cloth before because you're just going to be getting more grease onto the cloth, and the next time you use it, what are you doing? Well, you're putting grease onto it. That is my lightweight cleaning for my camera lens front. My heavy hitter is using lens tissue paper. So lens tissue paper, lots of different brands that you can get. It is basically a scratchy paper. I have a piece out here already that I'll grab. It is a scratchy paper here. You hear that? It is a scratchy paper, and you're like, why would I ever use this to clean my lens? But you use it in conjunction with a lens cleaning fluid. I really like this. It's ROR, a residual oil remover. If you have a really dirty lens, this is going to just clean it perfectly. It is better than anything else that I have ever used or tried. These are a mainstay for me. Do I take these out with me on location always? Not necessarily, because I would be the person who would leave the cap off, or somehow this would get all over inside. So generally I keep this at home. What do we do? We're going to saturate the paper. Now you don't need it to be sopping wet, but you need it to be wet enough. I generally leave some of the tissue paper clean, and then you're going to go in and clean your lens. And it does an amazing job. I will use the wet side, and then I will go in and use the dry side after. And then you kind of buff it, and it looks wonderful. It looks wonderful. Now, at this point, you might also be like, oh, I missed a couple little streaks, and so you might come in with a lens fiber cloth and buff it up. That keeps our lens looking so good, so good. Now, I will also do this to the back of the camera lens. Same steps, use this. I do tend to use the little brush to get stuff off of the edge around all of these spots here with the mount, because it just seems like things get stuck there more. At this point, we do want to be very careful when we have our camera open. So we haven't talked about yet, what do we do with the inside of our camera? It depends on your comfort level and your skill level. One thing that you can always do is use a lens blower. And you will notice I'm being very particular about how I'm holding the camera. I'm not setting it like this. I know this is the safest. Set it down like this. It's safe. It's not gonna fall, not gonna have any issues. It's great. The problem is we're inviting dust to fall in. So when I have my camera open, I'm having it like this, or if I'm being really paranoid, I'm turning it over completely so that I'm not inviting dust to go in. I will use my lens blower to come in here just around the edges. So I am not going to go in. This does not go inside. Don't do that. Just around the edges, and specifically I will hold it over like this, so that if there's any dust and debris that was around the edge that I didn't get before, it will come out. If there's any that's gotten inside here, it might come out as well. Now, depending on your camera, this is a digital SLR, so we have the mirror as our first line of defense. You can lock up your mirror for cleaning. If you have a mirrorless camera, you are not going to have the mirror there, and you will just have your sensor staring right at you. The next step with cleaning our sensor It depends if you feel comfortable enough to do it or if you want a professional to do it. If you want to do it on your own, you are going to be looking at getting sensor swabs and a cleaning fluid. I use the visible dust system. This is an APS-C size, and this is a full frame camera, but works well enough here. I'm not going to demo the whole process. I just want you to understand how to do it. If you decide to do it yourself, to purchase this, it's about the same price as if you're going to get your camera cleaned once by a professional, but you're going to get multiple swabs. This particular pack comes with 12 swabs, and you'll be able to clean your camera that many times. Just know that if you do it and you mess up, and if you scratch a pixel on your camera sensor, it's going to be there forever. That is not the undoable kind of thing. So take heed to that. What is the process? Do it in an environment where there's not, say, my cat is just walking through here. There should be no dust. There should be no moving air. You don't want to do it in front of an air conditioner or a heater, etc. You want things to be very dust-free. That is also why these are individually packed and why they recommend you use them once only. So you take it out, and then you're going to use the sensor cleaning fluid to saturate it. You want it to be wet enough that it is not dry anywhere, but you don't want it to be dripping wet. And then you open up your camera and you take this swab and you go once this way, and then you go once this way, and that's it. If you've done it right and there's not too much of the cleaning fluid on there, you will be able to see the fluid evaporate as you pull, and then when you go back the other way. Like I said, this is not for the faint of heart. I don't recommend most people do this yourself, but I wanted you to know because it is one of the things that I have and that I use. And you can see I keep it in my very fancy container. So what do I take with me? When I'm out shooting, lens blower always comes with me, a lens pen comes with me, and I do take a microfiber cloth. Depending on the shoot and where I'm going, I may take my lens tissues and the cleaning fluid if I'm traveling 100%, but often those stay at home. These three will do the bulk of my cleaning when I'm out on location, and then when I get home, I'm going to do a little bit more of a deep clean. I hope that I've given you a little bit of inspiration to baby your gear, keep it clean so that you don't have to buy new gear to replace it. You can buy new gear for fun, and you can take care of the gear that you have. If you have any questions, any tips, any things that I've missed that you love that are in your gear bag for cleaning all the time, let me know in the comments below. Please and thank you. And until then, happy cleaning.